It's definitely been a minute, but I'm back. Tennessee baseball is back. A huge weekend for Tennessee baseball with the MLB Draft. Could not have gone any better for Josh Elander and company. There were multiple risks coming in from your portal class, from your freshman class, but really nothing that was surprising that happened. And now we're going to look just roster for next season and what should be an absolutely loaded roster for sure. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you guys for sticking around, those that have stuck with the channel. So I've needed to take a little hiatus for a bit, but glad to be back talking Tennessee baseball again. Here we are. We're looking to draft from this weekend. I mean, nothing really surprising about it. We kind of had a pretty good idea going into it who's going to be picked. From looking at your guys that were on the roster last year to your signees. Of course, Deegan Coons continues the stretch of first-round picks. He goes to the Cardinals in the first round, pick 32. Based on what I've heard, what I've read, he'll sign for the slot value, which is a little over $3 million on that. Other guys with Tennessee, of course, were drafted along the way. Henry Ford was 6th round to the Mariners. Bo Rudy, 7th round to the Phillies. Garrett Wright, 8th round to the Angels. Brandon Arvidsson, 12th round to the Cubs. Evan Blanco, 13th round to the A's. Still not heard anything on if Reese Chapman has signed an undrafted free agent contract, but I would imagine that he won't have a hard time getting one of those. Now, if you look at, to me, the big win of it all was you only had one of your portal guys picked, and that was Jake McCoy, but he was 18th round. And the talk going in was we may hear his name on the first day. He was pretty highly regarded. Toronto Blue Jays picked him. Toronto has one of the smallest draft pools that there is, just over like $5.5 million. I was reading earlier, one of their picks they've already signed, it looks like, for over slot, high school catcher. And so I don't know, man. I'm not seeing where McCoy has not said anything, whether he's going to sign with Toronto or whether he's going to come to Tennessee. But I've got to think 18th round, unless, I know what I was looking at the Braves signings today, and their 8th, 9th, and 10th round picks, their signing bonus was $500. That's the lowest I've ever seen, because the Braves did go over slot for Cade McCarthy, who's a Tennessee signee, and then one more as well. Can the Blue Jays do that? I don't know. I don't know what kind of money McCoy's looking for, but I've got to think 18th round. I got to think it won't be a huge. They will definitely want to try to go over slot, but I was reading about on the Blue Jays site that it doesn't seem likely McCoy will sign with them. So, looking at that now, that's your only transfer that was picked. The rest, which I'll get into in a minute, that were draft eligible, have said they'll be coming to Tennessee. Now you look at it as well. Jared Grinlinger, of course, brother of Trent, Tennessee signee, was drafted by the Angels 12th. Trevor Condon, another signee, was drafted 13th. They're not going to make the Tennessee. There was a slim to none chance they were. Colorado picked right-hand pitcher Tyler Putnam, 5th round. You've got to think with that, he will sign. They'll go over slot on that one. I already mentioned as well McCarthy with the Braves. And then really the only surprise of it, and I'll give Mike Wilson, VolQuest.com, credit. He called this one that, a name that may be surprising is Cody Bochelle, 11th round pick to Arizona. Got to think the thought is he will sign with them as well. Now you look at, again, going back to the portal class here as well. Braden Kersey, Mercer transfer, was not draft eligible. He'll be a two-way guy. Parker Detmers, Louisville transfer, was draft eligible. I was seeing he was a low draft risk. He'll be in Knoxville. a big win here. Hayden Simerson, right-hander from Clemson. Everything I'd read, Mike Wilson, Eric Kane, VolQuest.com, was Simerson was intent on signing, but he was not drafted, and he's not signing an undrafted free agent contract as well. That's going to be a big arm out of the bullpen, a big right-handed arm for this team next year. Ricky Ojeda, transfer left-handed pitcher who come in, thought to be a draft risk as well, was not drafted. He's coming to Knoxville. That's going to be another big-time arm for them. Whether he's a long reliever, could he possibly start? That'll be interesting to see there as well. So you get those two arms, which were big for them. Brody Trosclair, of course, sophomore coming in, not draft eligible. And Jake McCoy, we're waiting on him as well. That's the lone transfer. Now, could one of these draft eligible guys come up and all of a sudden sign an undrafted contract? It's possible. We saw it a couple years ago. The catcher from where was it? Tennessee Tech, if I'm not mistaken. It was coming in, was thought to be all in. Then he signed, but McCoy, I think it'll be again. I don't see it. I don't see him signing unless it's just Toronto has a big pool or a big overslot deal that they can do it. The thing of it is with Trosclair, with McCoy, those are guys that may not be ready for the beginning of the season due to arm surgeries along the way. But it's arms that'll be beneficial down the stretch for Tennessee, no doubt. Now, if we look at, I'm trying to look over the roster here as well, and I'm looking at just the transfers right now as far as your hitters. Wyatt Hanawin, not draft eligible. Chris Ramirez, not draft eligible on it. One I'm still interested to see is infield transfer Mario Trivella. There was some stuff that he was going to sign with Tennessee. The commitment, Mike Wilson was on this whole time, said I'm not sure Tennessee's ready to accept it. It did come out. He did commit to Tennessee, but from what I've gathered, Trivella has not signed. So what happens now with the draft that it's over? Because there's a lot of talent from this high school class that's coming to Knoxville. Plus, we got the big news. Last week? Blake Grimmer announced he is returning and thought he would go to the draft. Blake Grimmer is returning. That is an absolute huge piece of this offense for next year. I'm excited to see what he does here as well. Andrew Duncan, transfer from Wright State. He was drafted 19th round by Pittsburgh, but he has said he is coming to Knoxville and will not sign with Pittsburgh. So now, looking at that as well, you're looking at the high school class. And it was thought that they could get hit pretty hard on that. They didn't. There was no surprises on it. According to Perfect Game, Tennessee has the third ranked recruiting class. Now, they've not updated them after the draft. This was before the draft. So this is including Grinlinger, Condon, Putnam, and McCarthy and Bushell as well. But Tennessee ranked third with 18 commits, and they had the highest average player ranking as well. Now, looking at those commits as well. Again, waiting on that to come up here as I'm looking at it. But, of course, the five I mentioned that were drafted, those guys are not going to be coming to campus. But now you start to look through this class. Going down the line here, you have Cole Kenninger, who is ranked like 17th overall by Perfect Game. Thought to be a draft risk, two-way guy coming to Knoxville, big pickup for them. Michael Teasley had already announced he wasn't drafted. Cooper Shrum, Gannon Grant, Gary Moore, Sean Sullivan, Cade Allen, Drew Christine. All these dudes are coming to campus, which is big for Tennessee. Now, again, going down through here, Grinlinger was ranked 5th, Condon 13th overall by Perfect Game. Kenninger, 17th. Sean Dunlap, catcher out of Indiana, 38th overall, is making it to campus. A.J. Curry, first baseman out of California, makes it to campus, 48th overall. McCarthy, of course, I mentioned him pick. Jackson Wood, 63rd. I'm trying to think on him. Because I'm thinking he decommitted, and they've still got him listed. Yeah, No. I'm wrong. He's still here. Jackson Wood, shortstop, listed out Hoover, Alabama, 63rd. Gannon Grant, right-handed pitcher out Indiana, 77th. Sean Sullivan, right-handed pitcher out of Ohio. Of course, Tyler Putnam was 92nd, was drafted by Colorado. Gary Moore, 6'8", right-handed pitcher out of California, 94th. Bochelle, he's out of Florida. Cade Allen, right-handed pitcher out of Humboldt, 133. Cooper Schrum, 136, right-handed pitcher, 6'6", out of Missouri. Mentioned Michael Teasley. He's listed as a two-way guy out of Oak Ridge, 151. Colt Springle, Brentwood, 166. Jack Dugan, 186, out of Nashville as a shortstop. And then Drew Christine, left-handed pitcher out of Maryland, is ranked 400th. That's according to what Perfect Games got here. Now you look at it as well, who's returning. Of course, we look at the rotation next year. Landon Mack, have not heard anything on him as far as what's up with his arm. Have not heard anything if it's just rest. Is there going to be a surgery or anything on it? Not heard where he's pitching in the Cape Cod League. I know he was invited up there. One that surprised me is Brady Frederick is returning. So it makes me think Austin Knight saw something here he can work with Frederick. Ethan Biotto was a big return as well. Freshman last year, a lot of potential. Has pitched really well in the Cape Cod League this summer. Of course, Cam Appenzeller, I kind of expect him to lead this staff next year. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him be the Friday night guy out of the gate. Will Haas, Chandler Dave Jackson, Estes all announced they were returning, all left-handed pitchers. If you get, especially with these guys coming in from high school, you've got Simerson, you've got Ojeda, who will be big. Parker Detmers could possibly be in the rotation. Trosclair, where does he factor in? They're going to have a lot more depth next year. And I really hope Josh Elander, Austin Knight and company will use those midweek games to where they can kind of build these guys. That a midweek loss does not kill you, especially early in the season. Could it have late last year? Possibly so. But use it to get these young guys in, get them some innings, get them going, because there is an absolute ton of talent. Right now, Tennessee's listed as having 36 on the roster. With Jake McCoy, they would have 37 there as well. Looking at your lineup now, we know Stone Lawless announced he was returning. Levi Clark, Trent Grinlinger, Blake Grimmer all announced they were returning. Of course, Tyler Might, Blaine Brown announced they were as well. One transfer I left out, which was a big one that ended up not getting drafted. Baylor transfer Travis Sanders, who should be a big part of that as well. So, offensively, they've added Wyatt Hanawan from Air Force, Chris Ramirez, Travis Sanders from Baylor, Braden Kersey, two-way guy from Mercer. If Travella makes it in, pretty good player this past season. This team, man, and I'm curious with guys like Cole Kennegar making it in. I've seen a lot of good things about Jack Dugan. Just AJ Curry. Seems to me like there is an absolute ton of talent on this team. And I think it's really simple next year. If you don't hit, you're going to be out. Of course, we thought that this year too, and really didn't see some freshmen get the opportunities that thought maybe they would in the lineup, which led to really majority of them transferring. It was a bit for Trent Grinlinger was actually in the lineup. But once he got in, he was stuck there, or he was entrenched there, hitting cleanup. He'll be a big part of it next year. But this team's going to look a lot different from a hitting perspective and a pitching perspective as well. They're going to be able to put the ball in play. They're getting guys who, you look at with Hanoian and with Ramirez, more walks and strikeouts. That's pretty impressive. I like the look up of it. Good luck to Josh Elander getting this all, because they're going to have so much talent. How are they going to make it work? We could sit here and speculate on lineups all day long, but it's going to be fall ball is going to be really, really interesting this year. I'm excited about what the potential of the lineup is. I'm excited about what looks to me like a much, much deeper pitching staff this coming season than what they had last season. I mean, let's face it, it was, once you got past your starters, it was, you had Arvidsson, Appenzeller, you had Bo Rudy. That was basically about it. Now, some guys started coming on at the end of the season, like Will Haas, Chandler Day a bit, but they need more than that. You need more than that because, I mean, let's face it, on the weekends, you got to get 27 outs. I like the makeup of what they've done. And again, big, big win for Josh Elander and company in this draft. And, will they hit the portal for more? I think it would have to make sense. I don't, could they get an outfielder? Possibly. Do you add more pitching? It seems to me like with this high school class, they're adding a lot of right-handed pitchers, which they need to go along with what they had through the portal as well. But, you got to be pretty happy if you're a Tennessee fan where this thing is. And, I think they'll get big results next year with it as well. Go wrap up on that one. This is Frank. This is the House of Orange. Good to see you again, and I'll see you when I see you.